and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Thursday, July 24th. We begin with a shooting on the northeast side of Indianapolis. It happened just after 7:20 this morning. That's when IMPD officers arrived to North Ritter Avenue near the intersection of 46th Street and Arlington Avenue. Authorities say they found a woman with gunshot wounds. Police did not provide the victim's name or age, but they did have this to say about the suspect.
On scene, we're able to quickly gather information on the suspect, as well as the suspect vehicle that he fled in. That suspect vehicle information was dispatched to other districts. Several districts began trying to locate that vehicle and that suspect, and IMPD North District officers shortly thereafter did locate that vehicle, and a short vehicle pursuit took place.
IMPD says that suspect is believed to have fired shots at officers during that pursuit. It led to an officer-involved shooting. The suspect was taken to an area hospital in critical condition. The officer was not hurt. On to a major story that ITMaid is following: changes in drug laws. Indiana was once one of a handful of states that outlawed fentanyl testing strips. Well, amid this recent change, advocates are speaking out, saying they hope the strips can save lives. ITMaid's Kyla Russell reports.
If I had this little packet in my pocket just last month, it would have been up to the local prosecutor to decide if I'd face charges for violating the state's paraphernalia laws. But thanks to a bipartisan effort, these life-saving strips are now officially legal.
Tucked away inside Overdose Lifeline's office sits Brianna Hicks, surrounded by tubs of test strips.
Any resident should and can access test strips.
She's the director of harm reduction, helping distribute the newly legal strips across the state.
Our former paraphernalia law said that anything that tests the presence, efficacy, or effectiveness of a substance, an illicit substance, could be considered paraphernalia. So while fentanyl test strips only test for presence, that was a gray area in that law and jurisdictions across Indiana.
Local harm reduction organizations say that fueled fear for people hoping to distribute the life-saving strips. The concern prompted them to push for change. It's something that took years.
There's this false narrative that access to test strips are going to encourage substance use or encourage drug use in general, especially to populations that are younger. However, that's just not true. Harm reduction is a proven practice that allows for individuals to make healthier and better decisions.
Hicks tells me the strips can be used to test drugs purchased off the street. When these small strips are submerged in water, they can detect the synthetic drug in seconds, which was found in over 90% of opioid overdoses in Indianapolis last year.
Fentanyl overdose is now the #1 cause of death for anybody aged 18 to 45. Indiana falls in that range as well, to where we're seeing fentanyl being the most prevalent cause of accidental overdose death.
Overdose Lifeline is one of the organizations distributing the strips. For more information on how exactly to request the strips, you can go ahead and scan that QR code on your screen. That will take you to the As Seen On section of our website, where I've posted exactly how. Reporting here in Indianapolis, I'm Kyla Russell for Wish TV and WishTV.com.
The mayor's latest pick to lead Indianapolis Animal Care Services is one step closer to being appointed to the job. Last night, a council committee approved Amanda Dahoney-Hinkle's nomination. Mayor Joe Hogsett picked her after shelter volunteers opposed his previous choice. One volunteer says she is thrilled about the new nominee. Just take a listen.
All the volunteers are excited to have a fresh start, to start this new chapter. And again, we just really want to be able to help her. We want to be able to work with these animals and just, have the ability to do that.
That was Jessica Perry that you just heard from there. The full council could approve Dahoney-Hinkle at its next meeting. That will take place on August 11th. A judge in Bartholomew County has sentenced a man from Michigan to a year in jail after he pleaded guilty in a revenge porn case. The Bartholomew County Prosecutor's Office says 18-year-old Jesse Price will also serve 5 years probation. Prosecutors say Price pleaded guilty to posting intimate pictures of his then 17-year-old ex-girlfriend to a porn website, along with her name and home address. Prosecutors say Price was tracked down through the work of Internet Crimes Against Children task forces in both Indiana and Michigan. On to some national headlines. Columbia University has reached a settlement with the Trump administration over allegations that it violated anti-discrimination laws. Columbia will pay $200 million over 3 years, plus another $21 million to resolve investigations brought on by the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. In return, Columbia says most of the federal grants that were frozen or cut will be restored. Columbia says that settlement does not mean the university is admitting to any wrongdoing. Russian state media is reporting that there do not appear to be any survivors in a plane crash that happened this morning. Officials say the Soviet-era plane was carrying 49 people, including 5 children. The agency says crews found the plane's burning fuselage on a hill just south of the town of Tenda, that's near Russia's eastern border with China. There is no immediate word on what caused that crash. Let's talk sports. Fever star Sophie Cunningham says the WNBA fined her $500 for criticizing referees on TikTok. Cunningham posted the video about 6 days ago. In it, she is lip-syncing lyrics from a song that includes the words stupid, slow, and useless. The caption on the video says, "At some refs." The WNBA and the Fever have not confirmed the fine. When it comes to the weather, Storm Track 8 says we are in a weather alert because of the hot weather and the humid conditions that are coming with it. Meteorologist Tara Hastings has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
The humidity sky high today. It feels awful out there, and it's going to feel worse later this afternoon. We have a heat advisory that goes in place at 11 o'clock this morning, and it's for the entire state. South Bend, Lafayette, Indy, down to Evansville, and this lasts until later on this evening. A live look from our Wish TV tower cam. We've got sunshine out there. It is 81 degrees in Indianapolis, but the dew point value into the lower 70s. So with the high humidity, it feels more like the mid 80s outside, and we really don't have too much of a wind to give us any kind of relief. Lower 80s pretty much across the entire state. South Bend at 82. Also in Bloomington, 81, Washington, and 83 degrees right now in Evansville. The dew point values, that's a measurement of how much moisture is in the atmosphere. We're at 73 in Indianapolis, which is impressive. And we're even higher, 77-degree dew point in Evansville. You don't see that too often across parts of Indiana. Because of the high humidity, it is going to feel very uncomfortable this afternoon. We've got this big dome of high pressure in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It's going to be hot, humid, and dry for the day today. Here's where temps will go. I think we'll be into the lower 90s later this afternoon, but heat indices or feels like temperatures will be climbing, possibly peaking between 105 and 107 here in Indianapolis, maybe even a bit higher south and west of Indy. We'll go with a high today of 93 degrees in Indianapolis, Bloomington, Bedford, Columbus, and about 94 later this afternoon in South Bend. We'll talk about heat, humidity, and any storm chances that we may see heading into the weekend, all in my 7-day forecast.
To get a peek at Tara's full forecast, just head over to wishtv.com, or you can download the Wish TV Storm Track 8 app. And don't forget to check out our Storm Track 8 weather blogs. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Thursday, July 24th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV and wishtv.com.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go, connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening, and be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.